the cord can be a huge money-saving option, but you're still going to watch your show. You're still going to want to watch your shows, right? So we're going to talk tech about why Google Chromecast is such a great, versatile option. Let's get this party started, shall we? Cutting the cord is all the rage, right? And it's because it's such a money-saving option, but you're still going to want to watch all of your favorite shows. So we're going to talk about why Google Chromecast can be such a great, versatile option and may even give you content that you couldn't get before, because the cable options can be limited if you don't want to buy package on top of package on top of package. So we're going to talk about all the different options. Now, yes, there's a bunch of different things out there. Besides the Chromecast, there is things like the Fire Stick or Roku or all kinds of other things out there. We're going to focus on the Chromecast right now because I love it. And just for context, I do have also the Fire Stick device and the Fire Cube. And I've played with Roku. So I do have something to compare it against. It's not that I'm just talking about the only thing I've ever tried, just for context. All right, but for those of you who are new here, welcome, first of all. My name is Kathleen. I'm here as your tech coach. The short version of the story is I do technology as my day gig and my hobby. And so my friends, family, and neighbors come to me when they have questions or when they want advice. And that has now expanded to their friends, family, neighbors, coworkers. So I do this show every week for everybody else out there who maybe doesn't have somebody like me to turn to. You're always welcome to reach out. If you have a question, if you need help, just go to yourtechcoach.com. All right, let's get into this because there's a lot of good options out there. And instead of paying, hundreds of dollars, I know some people pay hundreds of dollars for cable service, you can punt that these days and totally go and save a bunch of money and probably get better content that you're more interested in very easily. Now, first and foremost, there are absolutely free options, right? You can cut the cord and go and get over-the-air TV using an indoor or an outdoor antenna. And that's the only cost, right? So, and it's HD level, which a lot of people don't realize. So it's not like old school TV with the old antennas and the rabbit ears, although a lot of the antennas look like that. I think they're going for the nostalgia kick. But you can absolutely get TV content, local TV content, where you are, just using free options other than the antenna. And the antennas can run anywhere from like $25 to however much you want to pay. So there are definitely other options out there. What I'm talking about here is streaming TV. So, and by the way, you can have both of these. So that's the setup I have, right? I have over-the-air TV, and just, for context, I did a show on it. I'll put that link up here. At the 6-minute mark. Okay, just to remind myself. So you can get it. Now, what you're able to get is going to, for free, with the free over-the-air TV. It's going to be limited depending on where you are, right? So I'm lucky enough to live fairly close to New York City and Philadelphia, so I'm able to get both channels. So you're going to want to do some research. Like I said, that the show I did before tells you how to go and do that. However, streaming gives you so many more options, and there's so many good options out there for using it. So Jason's already on board. So the Google TV devices are cool once you've once you're all signed into them. They display your content on one page, like one page where you see your videos from YouTube, Disney, right? And that's one of the things which, we're going to skip a little ahead here, but that's one of the reasons I recommend the Google option for so many people, is because I think the user interface and the processes work so much better than the other ones do. So Stacy, who is on her way to a birthday party, is using Roku and the Fire Stick. And that's the thing. So I'm going to talk about Chromecast tonight, but these are also viable options and maybe the absolutely perfect option for you. So you're going to want to do your own research. But I'm going to explain why I recommend the Chromecast to most people in most cases. Like everything else, right? There's always exceptions, right? Okay, so yeah. Stacey's not a fan of those interfaces either. Yeah, so I do know that they're working on it, mainly because Google recently updated the Chromecast one, and it's getting rave reviews. And so you can bet the other ones are seeing that and are not happy, and they're assigning their crews to go and fix it, which is a good thing, right? So that's where the competition pays off for us, because by all of them trying to stay at least, equal, we all benefit from it. So let's talk about Google, because that's what we're here for. So for anybody who maybe has never seen it, let me bring this up for you. Oh, one sec. Okay. So you've got two options with Google right now. There was a third for a while, but that has been depreciated. So we're just going to talk about what's available as of when I do this. So there is the Chromecast, which is your basic level connection to get streaming content to your TV. You do have to have a fairly recent TV because you have to have an HDMI connector on it. But that runs about $30 without a sale. Now, all of these things go on sale on a regular basis. So if you do decide that you want to do this or you want to try a different one, I do recommend holding off for a sale because, hey, why not? Unless you have a really immediate need, your current thing is not working, it, just completely died on you. But otherwise, I would say go ahead and wait because, hey. The other one is the Chromecast with Google TV. So what are we talking about here? So the Chromecast itself is just the device which works as a way to pull down streaming content. Google TV is more of the package, right? So Google TV gives you a navigation system, right? That's what Jason was talking about. Like you have to log into it. Once you log into it, you don't have to really do it again unless somebody logs you out. But it gives you an interface where you can go ahead and you can, search and you can find what you want. Whereas with the Chromecast itself, you're just getting the ability to connect to whatever services you want to use. So it's a little bit more of a manual process. But of course, it's also $20 cheaper, so you're saving money. So that may work out well for you. I have used both. I used just the Chromecast for years. That totally worked for me, but it is extra steps, right? You have to decide which service you're going to want to use and then go to that and stream to that and all that kind of stuff. Make the connection, log in, tell it to stream. Not hard. Once you have done it once or twice, it's really easy. But that said, Google TV is even easier. So to put that out there. The other thing with Google TV is it gives you additional things, right? So they're constantly adding to it. So, you can go ahead and just, select your favorites. And well, I'm skipping ahead, but there's other reasons why I do like it. I have to put this up because that's what I design software for a living. So I wonder if a woman is involved with the interface design of Google. Probably. Probably is what I'm going to say, because that's just the way it goes. Google is making and has for a long time. They have been making concerted efforts to make their user interfaces, whether that's voice or screens or whatever, not only better but more accessible. And I think that's some of the benefit that we're all getting because people don't realize this when we talk about accessibility, which is another favorite topic of mine. But the short version is when you make something accessible for a segment of the population, that benefit actually benefits everybody usually. So the curb cuts are the basic example, right? They put curb cuts in to make it easier for people in wheelchairs to cross streets. But other people on bicycles, on skateboards, people pushing baby carriages or dog carriages. It makes it easier for other people as well, even though they were not the intended audience. I think there's some of that overflow happening with the Google interface stuff. So, and also, yes. There you go. Jason, yes, I'm going to get to that in a second. We're skipping ahead. Go enjoy your party, Stacey. Have fun. Wish the birthday person happy birthday for all of us. All right. So these are your options. The other thing with the Chromecast with Google TV is it does come with a remote, whereas the basic one doesn't. And we're going to talk about the benefits of the remote in a minute. That said, either one of them works. Either one of them is going to give you what you want and is going to be easy to use. So those are the high criteria for most of us. All right, let's keep going here. I guess we can cruise down here. So we'll just kind of look at... So this is the screen I was talking about. It's actually been updated since they haven't updated it on their website yet. But so this is what you get with the Google TV version of the Chromecast, right? So the slightly more expensive one is you get this kind of a layout where you've got all these options. You can watch live TV, you can watch movies, shows, and all that kind of stuff. But you can also then favorite things and do all that kind of stuff to make it easier to find your content. So that is super helpful. There's some other alluded to benefits here, which we will talk about in a second. So let's just go to here. So The Chromecast itself will give you up to 1080p quality, whereas the Chromecast with Google TV is going to get you up to 4K HDR. Other than that, you can do search and all that. We'll get into this in a minute, but that's the basic stuff. Let's get into the more detailed comparison. So this kind of cracks me up because these devices really sit behind your TV. So it amuses me a little bit that people are so into the colors, but there are different colors available. Now, I will say with the remote, okay, maybe you have a preference for the color, but you're sticking these behind your TV. So, if you have a preference and you're in love with the color, go for it. But if you're going to save a couple of bucks, I'd say go with whatever is cheaper. I talked about the resolution. So you have the voice remote access with, I'll explain this in a minute. But the voice remote thing, both of these you can control with your smart assistants, your Google Smart Assistants. Let's make that clear. This can be confusing. This is an extra benefit from the remote, which we'll talk about in a minute. The Google TV we talked about. Both of these you can connect to your smart speakers, and that can be wired or wireless depending on what you prefer. On both of them you can cast, which is definitely a big win. And then of course there is Stadia for those of us who are playing with Stadia. I'm on and off with Stadia. I'll be honest. I bought it early, but yeah. All right, so let's talk about what's really important here, right? The main reason that I think the Google one is better is first of all, if you're in the Google ecosystem, for me, it's a no-brainer, right? You're already familiar with the way everything works, all that kind of good stuff. So boom, super easy. That said, even if you're not, even if you're a an Amazon person, or you're more of a Mac person, I still recommend people seriously consider the Google option, whether you go with just the Chromecast alone or the one that comes with Google TV, because you still get more, right? It's completely compatible with things like AirPlay, with Apple TV. You can stream to it from your Apple devices. So there's really no downside to using it from that standpoint. And there's a lot of benefits because I've done testing, right? So I have fired up a show to watch, connected it, directly through Google TV, right? And then I've timed it. How long does it take? How's the quality? All that kind of stuff. And then I've done the same exact thing with the other devices, including the on-board ones for my smart TV, using the Fire Stick and the Fire Cube. And everything else is a little slower and the quality is a little less. So I've been much happier with the results. It's a apples to, no pun intended here, but it's a apples to apples comparison because all of them are in my home at this, we're doing it in the same time window, using the same internet connection, and I always get better results with the Google option. So that is definitely a big part of it. And as I said, so up until recently, there was the one thing most people were down about it was the fact that Apple TV was not available because, Apple and Google are always fighting. However, as of February 2021, the Apple TV app became available for Chromecast. So that difference is out the door now. So we can be happy about that one, right? So let's talk about, so let me bring this up because Jason brought up a great point. So there are options for both of these. Let me go and find them for you. There are options for both of these that will make your connection better if you need them. Oh, see, this is why let's try this one. I really just had this up. And of course, now I can't find it. I'll have to go to the accessories, I guess. Okay, one sec. Let's go to the accessories. One moment, please. So right now I am using my, so I have the Google Chromecast with Google TV, and I have been using that just using Wi-Fi. And I've been doing that as an experiment for a while because I wanted to see how well it worked or didn't work. And I'm happy to tell you, it freaking works. Here we go. So this is what Jason was referring to a few moments ago. And thank you for that, Jason. If you're not happy with the Wi-Fi results, you have options with either one of these Chromecast devices. So if you just have the basic Chromecast, you can get this for $15, this adapter that will let you plug in directly to an Ethernet connection. So it's just got the little box on it, and then it's got the little Ethernet port on it. Let's see if it gives us different views. Yep, there it is. So you see right here, actually here, let's play with all the toys tonight. How about that? So this right here is where you could plug in your Ethernet connection, like you'd run a wire, or if you're using an adapter or whatever, and that will then get you a direct connection to your router, which of course is going to give you a better feed, a better result. But there is also, a slightly different version, but this version here is the one for the Chromecast with Google TV. And so here again, you see that, you've got this Ethernet port that you can use, that you can connect your device directly to your router, which is always going to give you a better result. So that's a lovely option. And yes, you can, if you lose your remote, which we all do at some point, or break it, not this one. I actually broke one of the Fire Stick ones because I dropped it on the floor, forgot about it, and then stepped on it. That was not really good for it. But you can totally go ahead and get yourself another one if you need it. So that is certainly an option. So yes, thank you for that, Jason. It's very helpful. So let's talk about the remote, since we're on the topic of the remote. Let's see here. We might as well zoom in on it a little bit, right? So this is what the remote looks like. It's very simple. It's actually quite comfortable to hold. It comes in the different colors. So if you're into the colors, we have that option. And it's got 2 direct links for you. So you can go directly to YouTube, or you can go directly to Netflix. Obviously, it's not really a surprise that you can do YouTube so easily on a Google device. That totally makes sense, right? But that is another perk, right? So for example, when I'm watching, let's say Google I/O, which you have to be a geek to understand, but it's it's 3 to 5 days of geeking out and getting inside information about what's coming down the road and all that kind of stuff. I could watch it on my computer, I could watch it on my phone, but it's so much nicer to throw it up on the big TV and watch it. So being able to watch anything, like if you're watching me on YouTube, you could be putting me on your TV should you want to. I would understand if you didn't want to. So there's that. You've got your power, you've got your picture-in-picture. This is the other thing that makes the Chromecast with Google TV a slightly better option, I think, is that you can actually also do the things that you do with any Google Smart Assistant. The benefit is it doesn't trigger by mistake. Now, if you have any Smart Assistant, it doesn't matter which vendor it is, occasionally, for no apparent reason, it's going to react. It happened to me, I've lost track of the days. Today, I was on a Zoom call, did not say anything close to any of the trigger words, and it started talking to me. The nice thing about having the remote and being able to, so the way that it works is that you're going to click on the little thing. Let me switch back here. One moment. There we go. So when you want to activate the Google Assistant functionality on your Chromecast, if you've got the Chromecast with Google TV, you press this down. So it doesn't misfire. It only does it when you want it to, because you press the button and then you say the thing. I love that. And it is one of the benefits, as far as I'm concerned, to using this thing. And then you've got your home button and, all the stuff. You can work back through the menus. Whoops. There we go. So it's a very simple remote. It's not loaded up with 5 million different options, which a lot of remotes have. It's very simple. It's very lightweight. It is battery powered. So you do have to change the batteries every so often. You also have at the top this scroll wheel, which is just another way to navigate through the menu system. And then you can click the center of it, and that's your select button. And it also has on the side, right here, you've got your volume up and down kind of thing. So it's got all the basic stuff that you would expect, not everything, right? So it doesn't have like the play and the pause and all that kind of stuff. I don't miss it, because if I need to, pause it and then restart it, I just click on the little, speaker button and say, hey, do one or the other, and it does it for me. You can also, without even touching the remote, if you have Google Smart Assistants, or you have a smart assistant that you can connect to this setup, you can control it just with your voice. So that is one of the other perks for me of using this particular thing, is I have not ever, since I installed this, touched a remote to turn my TV on or off. I just tell Google to do it, and it takes care of it for me. And it feels like kind of a sci-fi moment, like, there's that Star Trek moment of talking to the computer and things happen. I still get that little rush every single time. But that is one of the other perks of this. Sorry, I just realized I don't have the comments up from, oh, actually, look at that. Jason, I didn't even realize. I didn't notice the little Facebook thing. You're actually on Facebook, and I'm getting the comments through. I feel like I should throw a party. So anyway, so it is something, so you can pause it, right? So if I need to, answer the door, take the dog out, and I'm in the middle of my movie or my show, I can just tell Google to pause it, go do what I need to do, come back and say, play, and it starts playing again. It's the little things in life, but it makes it very convenient for me. So that is something that is very important. Now, something we should talk about at this point is why a device, right? Why not get a TV that has all this kind of stuff in it? Because you can buy a TV that is a smart TV. It has all the apps built in. You can buy TVs, I think you can still buy them, that have Google TV built into them. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I do want to mention that if you are a content creator of any type and you find yourself hitting that brick wall every so often of, I don't know what to post, I created this for me. You are welcome to it. It's free. It's 130. It's a PDF of 130 content ideas. They are not text specific. They're generic. This is what I turn to when I have those moments of, I'm supposed to post today, I don't know what to post about, because your brain just gets locked up on that. So I literally close my eyes, pick a topic, and use it. You are welcome to this too. I had a few friends use it. They really liked it. So now I've made it available to everybody. So yourtechcoach.com/content ideas, no spaces. You just have to put in your email address so that I can email it to you. But other than that, it's free and you are good to go. So did want to let you know about that. Okay, so let's talk about the discussion of, should I get a TV that has this stuff built into it, or should I get a device? Hands down, I'm going to tell you, save the money. Don't get the smart TV. Go with the devices. Why? Because you're going to get more life out of your TV if you just go ahead with the devices, because should you change your mind, you don't have to go and buy a whole new TV, which can be very expensive. You can just unplug the device you've got, plug in the new device, and you're good to go. Also, I have found, and I did buy a smart TV, I got suckered into that, and I will not do it ever again. The smart TVs don't get updated as often as the devices do. You don't get as many perks out of them. And at some point, they just stop supporting them. And then you're stuck with this TV on your wall that you were going to use for all these things, and you can't. So I tell everybody at this point, stay away from the smart TVs, save that money, because for a fraction of the difference between a regular large screen HD TV and a smart TV, you could get many dinners and one or more of these devices. And by the way, you can attach, like I said, I right now I have the Google Chromecast with Google TV, and I have the Fire Cube connected to my TV. So you can have both. If you've got enough inputs on your TV, you can switch around and do the multiple. So that's another perk that I did want to make clear. The other benefit to going with a device over something like, a smart TV is portability, right? So let's just bring this back up for a second. So let's just talk about life in a very practical manner, right? When you go on vacation, when you go on a road trip, when you're out traveling for business, do you want to take your TV off the wall and try to get that through the airport security? Or do you want to grab one of these devices here, put that in your bag, and then bring that with you? Because you can then watch what you want, take it all. It's all yours, right? There's going to be some level of Wi-Fi wherever you are. And You've got your own device. They've all got the HDMI plugs in the background. You can go ahead and use it. Along that same line, if you're, maybe not on vacation, well, maybe on vacation even. So vacation, school, work trip, whatever, these are much easier to take along. Also, if you break it, you're not going to be as upset as if you broke your TV. The other benefit of using the Chromecast over the other things, and I'm not saying you can't do this with the others, I'm saying it's some of them you can't, some of them you can, but it's harder. It's very easy when you stay in this world, is you can share your screen to whatever you've plugged that device into. So for example, let's say that you are a road warrior and you're going out and you're going someplace and you expected them to have something that you could display your presentation on, or your video, or whatever it is that you're sharing from your computer. But whatever, it's not working or whatever. If you've got one of these in your bag, you can plug it into their TV. You'll have to get their internet, their guest internet password, but most companies have that. And then you can share your laptop or your phone to the screen. I mean, you're going to blow people's minds because, literally, you plug it in, you connect, and you're good to go. Like, you don't have to miss a step because they were having technical problems or their thing wasn't working. Oh, no, come back. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Because I didn't want to cough in your ears, but I just had to. So this is another benefit for it. Also, we've been talking about back to school here, and this is handy for your students, right? Because they can use this for their presentations. They can use this for entertainment in the dorm room, all this kind of stuff. So the flexibility of a device like this is just so awesome and so easy, which is another huge benefit in my book. Okay, let's see. So I skipped ahead on that, which is fairly obvious. Okay. The other benefit for the Google one, when people do compare it to the other options out there, is that Google Chromecast, either way, offers more apps and services, well, the Google TV especially, right? More apps and services than the other things that are out there right now. Could that change? Absolutely. But it is not a walled garden. It is not a confined ecosystem, right? Basically, if you can do it online, you can do it using this device, as opposed to something like the Fire Stick or the Fire Cube, where you are limited to the apps that are available in Amazon. And if you've ever used a Fire tablet or anything like that, or even one of the Fire TV devices, not everything is there. And the things that are there are not necessarily the most recent. So from that standpoint of having flexibility, up to date, lots more options, this again for me is a hands down win for the Chromecast, because it's got everything and they're constantly adding to it, because let's face it, Google wants you to keep using the internet. That's sort of their thing. So it will absolutely give you a lot of options, to the point where sometimes people feel a little overwhelmed by the options, at which point I tell them, just pull back. Go for the things that are important to you, and you can always play with the other options later. Okay. What else? So just as a quick run through, people are always, well, can I watch X on it? The answer is 99% yes, I'm sure. I'm sure there's something out there that you can't watch on it, but between using Google TV and being able to stream, I think that list of nots is very, very short. But for example, you can do Netflix, you can do HBO Max, all that kind of stuff, Disney Plus, Prime Video, YouTube, obviously, Hulu, what is that one? Paramount Plus, Spotify, CBS, Plex, Pluto TV. Pluto TV, by the way, is great for free TV. It's being streamed. All kinds of stuff. You can also get, I'm not going to say all, because again, I'm sure there's something out there that somebody wants that they're not, but almost all of the sporting events. Like, that was a problem in the beginning when we were cutting the cord, but these days you can usually get your sporting events and stream them however you want. The one thing that I do want to warn everybody about, so a lot of people, we go into the cutting the cord thing from cable or satellite TV because it's costing us a freaking fortune. And we're probably watching like 4 channels because most of it, the rest of it is garbage. So the benefit of doing this kind of thing is the garbage goes away because you're selecting what you want to watch and you've got a ton of things to choose from. And that's across the board with all of these devices. You do want to be careful, though, with all the paid services, right? Because if you start paying for Netflix and HBO Max and Disney Prime and blah, 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 you could very easily slip into paying more than you were paying for your cable or your satellite. So be careful, right? It's like, oh, it's, $2 a month. Oh, it's $5 a month. Oh, it's $15 a month. But that all adds up when you start to sign up for all the packages. So be realistic about it. My approach is if I sign up for a paid one, I drop a paid one. And that way I'm controlling my costs and I'm being mindful about what I'm watching. Because sometimes I'll sign up for something, usually after I know it's all there, and then binge watch the daylights out of whatever series I wanted to see. And then when I'm done with it, I drop it until I've got something else again that I want and I go back to my other things. So just be careful of that, be mindful of it, because the point here is to save money. And that is very, very important. So that is basically it. That is what I wanted to tell you. These are the benefits as far as I'm concerned. This is why I use this. I am constantly finding good stuff. And I also find it really helpful. So, like many people, I am doing the work from home thing. And it's kind of nice to be able to just fire up a series of Star Trek: The Next Generation and just let it run in the background. Yeah, I'm not paying complete attention to it because most of them I have memorized at this point, but it's that little bit of background noise that's kind of nice. And of course, if my boss calls or a meeting starts, I can just trigger my smart assistant. There's one back there, I don't want to trigger it, but I can trigger my smart assistant and say pause the TV. And it will pause it so that I can do what I want. And I haven't had to scramble for a remote or anything. It just takes care of it for me. And then when I'm done, if I want it back on, I just say, play whatever I was watching, and it goes back to playing it. So there's a lot of cool functionality. If you haven't played with one of these, I would say, so I'm recording this in August 2022. We're getting into the holiday season, right? There are going to be amazing deals on these things. So if you're at all curious about it, I highly recommend the Google stuff. Like, I have never set somebody up with it that they were disappointed. And I have some hardcore Apple people in my life and some hardcore Amazon people in my life. But because you can still get that content, right? So I'm Amazon Prime, right? The Amazon truck is here constantly. I think my dog thinks they're part of the family. I can watch my Prime content on Google Chromecast. Big win. I can watch Twitch streams. It's a shame Stacy's gone, because I used to watch Stacy when she was streaming on Twitch on that. I watch a lot of things on Twitch that I stream to my TV. So you're not at all limited. However you prefer to consume your entertainment, your education, all that kind of stuff, it's going to work with this. That said, make the choice that's right for you, obviously. If you really are super deep into the Amazon ecosystem, go ahead and try one of the Amazon solutions. They've got a bunch of different ones. And like I said, they do discount a lot going into the holiday season. So just pick one and try it. The nice thing is, even with the Google stuff, right? So let's go back and look at this for a second. The expensive option is $50. And let me be clear here, because I know people have kind of fallen into the subscription mindset. That's it. That's all you're paying. It's a one-time cost for the device. And even Google TV, there's no reoccurring cost. Any reoccurring cost would be if you sign up for Hulu or HBO or that kind of thing. Chromecast TV for free gives you a ton of content. You never have to go to those paid services if you don't want to. And one of the other things I love, and this is where we were talking earlier about the user interface, when you say to your Google device, or if you're browsing through the screens, when you pick something you want, when you say, I want to watch X, it will bring up all the different options for watching that, right? So if you are I've been on a binge again with, there was this TV show called Numbers that ran for a few years. I don't know why. I just really love it. I love, well, Judd Hirsch is in it. That has a lot to do with it. It's well written, good actors, all that kind of stuff. And it's a good thing because I've watched them 1,000 times to have running in the background. When it comes up, when I ask Google to bring that up, it shows me all the different ways that I can watch it. Same thing with like things like with Grey's Anatomy, right? There's a lot of different ways. You can watch old seasons, all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to know where to go. It's going to say, okay, you want to watch that? Here are your options. And you can go ahead and pick the one that works for you. By the way, Pluto TV, good for all that kind of stuff. So just wanted to make that very clear. So the prices that you're seeing here are one time, and that's the same if you go to, with Amazon or Roku or that kind of thing. All the fees won't kick in until you get into something like, you need to be a Prime member to do Prime Video for free. Roku is going to be the same as Google. If you want to do HBO or whatever, that's where it kicks in. So there's all that. And then, of course, you can always, with the Google stuff, cast from your phone, from your computer. You can share photos. You can stream, websites, whatever it is, whatever content you can put up on your screen, you can cast to this device and share it with whomever. It's really fun for photos, right? So if you want to throw them up and let everybody see them, instead of everybody huddling around your phone to look at the photos, just stream it up there. Everybody can see it. It's great. All right. Let's see if there's any questions. Let me just double check here because, again, I keep closing this. Stop closing Facebook. Facebook has been so helpful lately. We won't talk about that right now. Okay, it looks like I'm caught up. Excellent. All right, so as always, feel free if you have a question, if you have a comment, you can reach out. It goes like this. You're a techcoach.net. If you, let me see if I can bring this up. That's not the one. Nope, that one. If you need help, if you want to talk through and walk through the options to figure out what's best for you. If you're just having problems with tech and you need, a one-on-one session, you can go to yourtechcoach.com/appointments. And I'm happy to go ahead and walk you through that kind of stuff. Also, just go to the website. If you have a topic you want me to cover, if there's something you're curious about, you can just go to yourtechcoach.com. There's a form there. Most of my content comes from real life, right? It's something I've been helping people with. This has been coming up a lot lately, this whole TV thing with the kids going to college and all that kind of stuff. And also questions that you folks ask. So please don't hesitate. Because if you have the question, somebody else has the question. So this way I can help more people with it. But again, if you want one-on-one, we can do that as well. Thank you all so much. I would love to hear from you in the comments, which you're using, what you love about it, what you don't like about it, because all this information is helpful to everybody. So feel free to jump in and let me know. I hope you're going to have a great rest of the week. We're getting to the end of the summer, but I'm not ready to say that it's over. So I hope that you're going to have some fun this weekend, and we will talk again soon. We'll talk. Bye.